welcome to Cat Stitch. I'm Kat, your hostess with the whatever. For those that are new to the channel, thank you very much for popping on by. If you like what you see, please remember to like, subscribe, you know, all the things that you told on every other channel. And for those that have returned, thank you guys very much for hanging out with me again. Yeah, sorry about last week. I actually got quite sick. And yeah, so I think it's just been something that's been hanging around for a while, and I just kept on pushing through it until my body just said, nope, screw you, you're stopping. And so that's pretty much what I had to do. Stop working and stop doing really anything and completely resting. But I'm feeling a lot better now, so thank you for those that asked. And having off and on issues with the eyes in the last couple of weeks, but that could be because of how what else was going on. So well, that's what I'm putting it down to. So I didn't get as many stitches in as I probably would have, being at home every day and feeling fine. But I got some in. So I thought today I would I'm not really going to go through what have I seen on Floss this week, because, or this last fortnight, because I've pretty much caught up on everybody that's in my subscribe thing to make sure I'm all up to date. Haven't seen any new ones the last fortnight. I have been binge watching FBI Files and true crime. I don't know, there was just something about it this week, especially last week it was Buffy and Angel. This week it was true crime, and I don't know why, but I was just in the mood for that. The only political statement I'm going to make is that the powers that be in the US that make those stupid decisions are dickheads. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Other than, you want to come to New Zealand, please come over. Come for a holiday, come for hang out, whatever. You're more than welcome to come over here to us sane people. Right, so what are we doing today? I was not quite sure if I'd even be filming today because like I said, didn't really get a lot done, but I did work on a few projects, and I have also gone through all my WIPs, thinned them out. Some have been put away to the whenever I feel like it box. Others have been completely dismantled, and I'm left with just what I'm left with. So these are ones that are to come out at some point this year. I'm really hoping my flatmate doesn't make a lot of noise like it did last time. Okay. So what have I... yeah, so we'll talk about... It's almost like a WIP parade. What I've worked on in the last 2 weeks, and also I'm not going to show the ones that I've started this year that are WIPs because you've seen those last week. They were part of, not last week, last video. So I'm not going to include them in this one. In total, I have about 30 WIPs. And I'd like, ideally, to try and get it down to about 15 by the end of the year. I was thinking, single figures going into next year, but anything under 20 going into next year would be really good, because this year I came in with, 40 or 50. So, because it was supposed to be a no new start year. Whoops! Totally screwed that one up. So, yeah. So we're going to go through that. I can't say I'm overly well prepared, and I just about didn't do it. Didn't record today, but I thought no. We'll just muddle through, and I'll put what information I can up. And as you can see, I've got the hostess, the host with the most, Bobby McGee. Hey Bob. Yes, he's instructing. Sitting next to me. I did do a lot of reorganizing in my zen, in my room, in my space. So yeah, I've got different things there. I've moved all the WIPs, gone through all my flosses. I still have some work to do in here, and when I've finished, then I'll take some pictures and we'll put those up and that sort of stuff. But I had to bring out another cupboard in, only because I wanted the little fold out table that I had my printer on to be able to work on, and it's like I need something to put the printer on. So we brought one of my cupboards in from my bedroom into here, so that was a quick empty, and hopefully this week, I'm so excited. My honey has managed to find someone for us to borrow a cricket maker. Cricket maker, is that the right one? A cricket maker off, so that I can make some floss drops. And he's making me some wooden slats with a whole bunch of holes in, almost like, you know, a thread sorter. But it's going to go into my little suspension file thing, and I'm going to be hanging my overdyes in that instead of in floss bags. So they're going to be in that, so I can just pull up. These 3 are weeks dyes, and these 3 are, you know, colour wicks. Because I don't have hundreds of them. I do have a lot, and yes, the number is growing. But I just sort of thought I'd like them all hanging, so when I, you know, am looking for a green, I'm going to have all the greens. I'm going to hang them not so much in name, because I was trying to work out which would be the way that would make me happiest. I'm actually going to do them in colourways, because usually when I'm switching out, I'm looking for what greens have I got, what blues have I got, you know, what browns have I got, and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's a project for the next month or so, because I only see my honey every week or so. So I you know, and he's going to help me with another project. He's getting a longer list. Honestly, I've got to stop coming up with ideas. So what have I been doing in the last couple of weeks since you last saw me? I started my first ever Nora Corbett. So this is Nora Corbett Miss Ladybug, and I've never done it, you know, I mean, I'm not saying I've never done anything like this, but this is the first time I've done a Nora Corbett Mirabilia, and I gotta say, I do get quite daunted when you see some of these ones that people are doing, these Mirabilias. They're incredible. Oh my god, you know, a little bit overwhelming and a bit daunting. But I must say, if you go with the Nora Corbett one, it's not that it's not as good, it's just it seems easier and not as daunting. I don't think there's as many beads, there's not a lot of, you know, as much backstitch and all that sort of stuff, and it's more manageable. It's not a whopping great big thing, and there's smaller designs, a lot of them. So I've got a couple more Nora Corbett in the pipeline for this year, as long as I'm not able to start them until I finish some other projects. But this is Miss Ladybug, what she's supposed to look like, and here's where I've gotten to. So I started her, this was like 3 days work, and I think she's absolutely lovely. She is so pretty. Oh, sorry about the light, but I think she's gorgeous. And yes, of course I've switched I've switched out the black. I switched out the black. Again, I'm using overdyed instead of 310, but you know, I just sort of think I'm really quite happy with how I'm doing. I did have to unstitch this row of brown down here. I had to unstitch it because I don't know how, but I had miscounted somewhere, and so when I went to put that black part over top of it, her glove, I realised, and I was thinking, thank God I had stopped when I, you know, that part when I had, otherwise I would have been gutted. Now, so that was a new start. I think that was, oh, the other new start, I don't know, did I show, I know I'd won it. So this is the one that Louisiana Stitching Girl sent me, that, thank you Cheyenne, that I'd won, and it's by Sub Rosa. It's called Black Cat, and I'm doing it on 25 count Lagana. I think it's Ecru. It was that piece that I got a few weeks ago, and I'm doing it 1/1. The colours, I'm instead of using black, and I think it says 858, and when I looked it up I was thinking it looks different than what's in the picture of it. So the picture looks like where the inside of the black cat in is, that it's white or a grey or something like that, but when I look up the number for it, it's actually more of a khaki beige sort of colour, or maybe I'm just looking up the wrong colour. So I mean, I've switched out the black. Instead of black, I'm using Weeks Dye Works Onyx, And for the key, and so the other colour I'm actually switching out for 2 colours. One is going to be, I'm gonna have a look and sort of pick through for the face and hands, but the other colour for the sign and, you know, the key and around the windows and everything like that is going to be a Threadworks colour. So this is where I've gotten to now. So I had just done here and I think here. It's hard doing this backwards. And I'd gotten black. I don't know whether I'd gotten the whole word cat. I might have had black car. I'm sure I had the whole cat, because otherwise that would have annoyed me. So it's getting done 1/1 on 25 count Lagana. And there's about 20%. So I'm about the 20% mark on this one. And then I had also started Finally a Farm Girls Chrissy, which the Bueller's Brew. I had to think about that for a minute. And I'd gotten to this point and I was a little concerned I was going to run out of the black, but I had enough, so I carried on going. And then I was doing the window and I decided I'm changing the window. As you can see in the image, inside the window it's a darker bluey tone and stuff like that, and it sort of reminded me very much of like an evening sky or a summer sky, and we're in the middle of winter, and I sort of thought, you know what, I think it's a frosty evening outside. I think that's why we've got the cauldron bubbling. We need some warmth, having a nice bowl of soup. It's a cold day. It's interesting when where your mind goes when you look at some of these pictures. And so this is where I'm up to now. Now you will see I slightly miscalculated. I thought, no, I'm going to do it. 9 stitches short, I ran out of the colour. But that's okay, I've ordered some more. Now I know that with Weeks Dye Works and any other over dyed, you're not always guaranteed to get the same colour. But I have a backup plan. I'm not going to say anything about it, because if I don't need to do it, then I don't have to do anything. So there we go. So I have, what have I done? I don't know. I've made the spider, the cat, and Miss Mouse. Used whisper thread for those so that they'll be fluffy. I think that was the only... Oh, and for the spider web and backstitch sort of thing, and the whiskers on the mouse and the cat, I used Treasure Braid black. And then, yeah, different threads, because I've been switching everything out into over dyed, so there's no DMC. I am trying to note down what I'm using, but it's going to be a bit of a list, so I'll wait till I've finished, because there's going to be more changes. So yeah, so there's my snowy outside. It almost looks, now that I'm looking at it, it almost looks like the moon is rising, really, with the colour I've chosen. But I've got some little bows, because if you have a look at the picture on the chart, she's got, her display model has little bows here to hold the curtains back. But I don't know, I might decide that's the moon and add some little stars or something up here instead, that it's looking out the window at the moon. No, we're gonna stick to the window. So that's one that's on the books to finish this week. Right. Now, unfortunately, because I got so sick, I couldn't go to Matariki. I didn't want to pass on whatever I had, because I wasn't sure what it was until, you know, to everybody there. So I don't know whether it's my subconscious trying to get out of it or what, but I still wanted to participate, even if it was from a distance. So instead I started one of the charts that I had picked out to start that day, and I had it all kitted up ready to go. So I chose Twin Peaks Primitives Old Mill, and this is where I had gotten up to a Matariki, which was on Friday the 24th of June, which is when I started it, and I'd done this much. And then I had sort of come to a quandary point. I knew I wasn't going to stick with the with the colours of the mill house, and I also knew I probably am not going to be putting Silent Night, Holy Night down the bottom. It's going to be a winter scene, I'm just not a Christmas fan. I'm going to be doing some Christmas ones, and I sort of think, but those ones are all going to get given away, so I don't mind making them Christmassy because I'm going to have to put up with them, but I want to keep this one. So I went through my Jodie Reed threads, and I've picked out one of my favourites. It's called Deepest Night, and it's one of my favourite threads from her. It's got, you know, the blues and the purples and the greys, and it's just really lovely. And the thing is, I've done the lighter part of the windmill, of the old mill, and in this thread, and I'm sort of thinking, I might do the entire mill in this thread instead, or do I go with like a dark purple or a dark grey? So if you've got any ideas or any input, that would be really, really good. So this is where I'm up to now. I don't know if you can see that because there's so much reflection going on. There we go. So as you can see, I mean, I love the variation of that thread, and yes, I'm a dog mum. So now I sort of paused thinking, oh, what am I going to do? Because I really, really love, it almost looks bricky, or, you know, stuff like that, and it's still dark enough, and oh yeah. So and that's getting stitched on 14 count opal Sleepy Hollow, yeah, by Live and Die in LA. This one was one that I did show last week, I think, because I thought it was a finish, and then I discovered it's not. It's a ruddy WIP, and I still haven't got, not last week, the week before, I still haven't got just doing those last stitches, and I'm like, what? When I realised last night, I sort of looked at it and I thought I should probably do that. Maybe I'll do it this morning, but I had to go and get some shopping and bits and pieces, so I didn't get around to doing it, and I wanted to get this filmed. So it is my Joan Elliott All Hallows Eve. I'll get the right name this time. Now, I think last time I didn't really show properly, so hopefully this will, I don't know if you can see it, but I had gone one way with the threads, and then I hadn't done the other leg. That's all I have left to do on it. Idiot. Me, not you guys. So that's in this week's pile. So those ones that I've showed you are carrying on this week. And then we go on to some of the WIPs and things. Because it's Christmas in July, I thought, well, I am going to do some small decorations, but I want to get these couple done first. So there's the old mill, and the one that's going to replace the old mill once I finish that one, because I'm not allowed to start a Christmas one until I finish one, because I don't want a whole bunch of WIPs of them, is one that I started in October last year, as part of the, I think it was like, you know, like a new start every day or something. Don't know what I was thinking. Don't do that. So I had started this. It's one of the Luba Davies Atelier designs. One of the few, you know, one of the ones that I got that wasn't Halloween-y, but the quote just, sorry about the lighting. The sun keeps changing. It's a beautiful day, but it's just been obnoxious. Yeah, one of the quotes, but this one I'm getting, and you know, I'm doing it for my friend, my best friend, because she is very Christmassy, and you know, her kids are all home, you know, back home again, one from overseas, and stuff like that. So All Hearts Come Home for Christmas by Luba Davies Atelier. This is what I started in October last year, and I haven't touched it since, so it's getting pulled out this month. Yeah, I mean, it was still a good start. It's just, yeah. So the hearts is going to be in red, obviously, and Christmas I'm going to do in green, because I don't know, I've got a mottled dark green, I mean a variegated dark green, which I'm going to use, and I'm sort of thinking maybe the same on the other, and it's on Jodie Ree fabric called Winter Queen. So here we go. So that one gets to stay out as well. So what is going back into the bags for my shelf for me to grab as I go? Right. I love the Gorgeous Girls, and I actually started a few. Please hold. Sorry about that, big ass anyway. Just want to get a board. I thought I had everything. Of course, there's always one thing that gets missed. And I started 3 of the Gorgeous Girls, and I'm just like, why did I not finish any of them? I'm not 100% sure, and I'm still not 100% sure when I'm going to pick them up. They are going to get at least 100 stitches on them this year. That's my promise. So I don't know when, but they will get pulled out, and at least 100 stitches are going to get added onto them. So this is Spring at Last. Started her, I don't think it was last year, I think it was the year before. I know it was early pandemic, or maybe it was just before pandemic. So Spring at Last. I like doing these in like color blocks, you know, like all of that color and then on to the next one, because then you sort of see it emerge as it comes through. But I don't know if that was the right thing to do, because I don't do that a lot on, you know, a lot of other ones. I tend to sort of keep changing colors, but depends on my mood. This one is called The Scarf, which I love. You know, I mean, even though I'm not a huge green fan, I just loved this one, and I sort of thought this is a winter one. The other one was a spring one. I don't have an autumn or a summer one. This one is the oldest one now. My best friend will be cracking up laughing, because I started this before I got divorced. So it must be at least, must be 2015, I think I started this. So it's getting up there. And I actually got quite a lot done when I was at her place. It's just all the back stitch. So, back stitch. This is Ruby. And I'm like, yeah, Karen, is Ruby. She still looks the same as when I left your place after coming for a visit. Because I started it up at her place. And, oops. Notice I'm not putting it in the pull-out pile. Okay, so this one, I've got 2 Luba Davies Atelier ones next. One is Park Your Broom. Again, these were ones that I started in October last year. And it's getting stitched on Woolly Bear by Mystic Fabrics. So that's where I'm up to so far. And then on the same piece of fabric, because it will fit, but I'm going to do one of them at a time instead of carrying on working on both, is the Witching Hour. Didn't start a lot on this one, so that's why I'm working on the other one first. And then I can, I mean, it's not like I don't have other fabrics. I can put the Witching Hour one on, and it's not a huge loss. I actually think I'm going to put the Witching one on a different one. Now this one I couldn't find a picture. I just like the idea of doing the inserts of the pictures. It's usually a lot easier for me to get the, you know, but I couldn't find one online for this. So this is Watermill by Derwent Water Designs in the UK. So I've got to try and get this. And I'm not sure why I stopped this one, because I really do love it. I know it's not Halloween, but there's just something about it. And I really really love it and I want to finish it. So this is actually going in one of my ones to be looked at again this month. And this is where I'm up to. Other side here. Excuse the thread. Something must have distracted me. But it's beautiful. And I don't know, there was just something that called me about this one. So I want to get that done this month. My oldest WIP. And I've really reached the point where I don't even know if I want to. I can be bothered. Because it's just a lot of backstitch crap. I mean, I've done all the hard work. I just can't, honestly, I just can't focus long enough to do backstitch. I just can't. So it is Frederick the Literate, which has been in my lovely bag and boxes and has moved with me multiple times for well over a decade. And I have so little left to do. It's just the writing up the top. But in my defense, I lost my threads, I lost my chart, I lost the only thing I still had was what I'd stitched in one of the moves after my husband and I split up. And of course the light goes funky again. So hopefully you can see this. So as you can see, it's just the back stitch up here for the titles of the books. I just honestly, I'm tempted just to leave it, but there's unnamed books up on the bench, and I'll just, I'll do the outline around the bird and I'll add in that sort of detail, but I'm honestly over it. I don't know. There's a part of me that will be really angry with myself if I give up on it, but then there's another part of me that's like, and next. Okay, so this one is Cloud's Factory. It's called the Grimm's Fairy Tale Sale. So it was a sale. I regard them as start-alongs. I never keep up. Oops. I think this is a Mystic fabric that I would have got in one of the games. No, I'm leaning more towards that it's not. So this is where I've gotten up to, and yes, I realise it's actually a sampler because it's got alphabets on, but because they're all over the place and there's other words, I know I seem okay with it, and it's very cute. But one thing I am going to do before I do anything else is do the back stitch on each section as I go, because if I have to go back and do the back stitch, it'll never get done. So this is where I'm up to. Here we go. And it's very cute. So the first thing to do on that is to get the back stitch completed on the portions that are done, and then I'm allowed to start a new section. Only a couple more, because there's going to be a couple of changed ones. Autumn Lane Stitchery, this one is. It's on a Jodie Ree fabric. I'm just not sure the name of the fabric, but it's one of my favourite witches that they did, that they've done so far, and it is Potions and Spells. And so that's where I'm up to so far. As you can see, I'm pretty much sticking with the called for colours. And I think that's nearly the end of page 1, I think. So I'd like to say I'm about 25% in, but I didn't really look. Okay, so while I was thinning everything out and deciding what was staying and what was going, let me just double check. No, that's that one that goes on that side. I sort of got to a point, as sad as it sounds, that there's a couple of others that I'm going to be changing to be something else. So I'm not going to finish them as such. I'm going to adapt them and turn them into drums or pillows or stuff like that. It's just, yeah. So as you already knew, Halloween night was one. So I haven't touched it since then, but that is the portion I kept. I'm going to finish filling it out and then learn how to turn that into a drum. This one is the other one, which I would have shown the other week. Again, kept the portion that I'd done, the tree, so just a little bit finishing up on the tree, and then adding like an owl and I don't know, a cat, cauldron, making it a little mini Halloween sort of theme, and maybe turning it into a stand-up or a flat finish or something like that. And then the biggest shocker, because I have so many designs I want to stitch, repeat stitching to me would probably be frustrating as heck. Because I just, yeah, didn't want to do it. So my Universal Monster, which I had done a lot on. So what I'm planning on doing is taking the roof and the top floor of rooms. That's going to become a drum once I finish the other two rooms. And maybe add a witch flying in the corner. So that's the section I'm going to be saving. And maybe have a witch flying, you know, Sarah on her broom flying up there. And I might put the Sanderson sisters next to Edgar Allan Poe, so there'll be Winifred and Mary in one of the rooms. Edgar Allan Poe, and then I'm not quite sure who I'm going to put in the other one. It might be the Winchesters, I think. And then at some point, and I'll put it aside once I've done that, at some point the Swamp Monster is going. Either that or I'm going to save this portion. But I don't think I am, because I'm keeping those top rooms there. So it's going to be saved from here down, and 6 rooms will get added, and that will be another drum. So that's my choice for that one. When they'll get done, I don't know. But yeah. One of my largest WIPs, and this is why doing large projects is an issue, because I love her to bits and I'm so looking forward to getting her done. The thing is, when she's done, I don't know what I'm going to do with her. Sorry Bobby, Bella Filipina Bellatrix. This was the first one of this sort of style of design I'd ever done, and I have loved stitching her. Again, it's adding the back stitch, and I've got to add all the thousands or hundreds and hundreds of beads. It's a bit daunting and stuff like that, but you two don't start. Monkey, put those teeth away. So we're just going to sort of see how we go, but here we are. I don't know if you can see her, but in all her glory, this is Bellatrix. And I've got her on my lap stand. It's the first time I've used one of these as well. So I got the lap, oh, here we go. I got the lap stand specifically for her because I needed something big enough. And she's going to be gorgeous when she's done. I'm just going to stop mucking around and do a if somebody else wants to bead her for me, that'd be brilliant. I'm still trying to work out how to use this thing. Oh, I'll figure it out later. This is why I didn't want to take her out. But she's done, she's taken out now. So I just need to turn this around. So, oh, this is my little, it's just a clip-on. And you can hold your charts and stuff like that when you're working on a wooden thing. So, I mean, obviously when you've got a metal one, you can use your needle minders or stuff like that to hold it, hold your charts on, or, you know, that sort of thing. But when you're working on wood, you need something that will hold the chart for you, and I just got that from the needlework supplier that I use. Whoops, that wasn't supposed to happen. There we go. Okay, maybe we're going to start from the bottom. I was going to start from the top, but we might start from the bottom and work our way up. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's what I need to do. Start from the bottom, because I know that the majority of the must be right. I know the majority of, you know, the back stitching and beading and all that sort of stuff is in the bottom portion. So maybe that's what I need to do, is start at the bottom and get the bulk out of the way and then move up. See, I only just got the frame. If I'd gotten it right from the get-go and, you know, and known, I would have beaded and backstitched as I did it. So it wouldn't be such a daunting prospect. Right. That's it. That's all my WIPs. That's all my projects I've got planned to be working on this year, that have already started. Of course I've got other ones. Oh, last week I mentioned, or you know, last time I mentioned that I was missing a chart, or missing one, and you know, I said I'm sure I've got it, and of course I put it in a safe place because it was one I was undecided on, and that is my Gothic window. See, I actually really like it like that. I like the simplicity of having none of that lattice stuff in the window. So I've come to the point that it's done. I've decided. I mean, if anything, I might add a few beads. But I'm happy with it being the way it is. It's stitched on. I just saw a card for it. Where did I put it? Christmas Dawn. And the design is by Lana Randolph in the Halloween Just Cross Stitch magazine 2020. It's even on page 2062. So no, that's it. It's done. It goes into my ever increasing pile of done. Now I am going to do Christmas in July mini ones. I've gotten a bunch of designs out of the Just Cross Stitch ornament magazines. I've got a few years worth, so I sort of thought, oh, now on my birthday, the lovely Chris, she very nicely gave me a lovely scentsy flower. It's like a bottle and you put a flower on it. It's got the lovely scent coming out of it. She gave me that for my birthday, and she wrapped it in something, and my god, you know, this is brilliant. It was wrapped in this particular fabric, and it had a ribbon tied around it that you can use, you know, for embellishment or stuff like that. But this is a Lakeside Needlecraft exclusive. It's just called Opal, and it's like it's painted, so it's white on one side, but this is what she wrapped it up in. So she folded it in half and then wrapped it up, so it was actually a lot bigger than I expected it to be. But look at this. And so this just seems to go on. This is what I'm going to put all the little Christmas ornaments on. I'm just going to cut them all out. So this is going to be my Christmas fabric. I think it's magical and very you know, wintry, Christmassy sort of thing once I get all the cat hair off it. Thank you. So that's what the Christmas ornaments are getting stitched on. So thank you so much, Chris, because that is fabulous. Fabulous, darling. Now, my honey, I had asked him if he could get, you know, some walnut shelves, or I don't know what we would use in New Zealand. Lizard litter. I've looked for it. Is that like the bedding stuff? Because the only thing I can really find is almost like kitty litter. It's absorbent and stuff like that. I'm thinking, I'm sure we don't want that in our cross stitch and stuff. And I you know, I just wanted it to be able to weight all these pillows that I'm wanting to do, to give them some weight. I mean, I've definitely got enough of the wadding, padding, whatever stuffing. I've got heaps. I've got a couple of bagfuls because I didn't know how big the bags were. But I just want something in them to give them some weight, especially when I'm going to do some more of the scissor fob size and that sort of thing. So my honey suggested garnet grit. Now it's abrasive and it's what they use for sandblasting and stuff like that. It's very fine. It's very like the emery sand. And I'm thinking, well, I've got a little tiny thing of emery sand, so, and it will sharpen needles. And so he brought me a little sample bag of it for me to try out. I've been trying to research though as to whether it's acidic, and I can't find anything. So if anyone out there can tell me, not that I expect any of my stuff, you know, to be heirlooms to get handed down for generations or nothing like that, but you know, I'd like it to last longer than a week. Sorry about the bag, I forgot to take it out. So the stitch email I got to help with some of my projects that I've got coming up. 2 pieces of fabric for backing, which I thought was just really lovely, very neutral, which will work really nicely with some of the sampler designs or the Plum Street designs. I don't think it's got who the designer is on the actual fabric. Oh, here we go. Okay, so it is Red Rooster Fabrics, Ophelia and Company. It's Ivory Kitchen by Candice Metzger, M-E-T-Z-G-E-R. Ophelia and Company for Red Rooster. Here we go. I don't know if you can read that. Really, really lovely fabric. I just think it's very, you know, great for primitive and stuff like that. So I've got that one. Is that the same one? Yes, they're both called Ivory Kitchen, so I don't know whether I just sort of thought those will work really nicely. And of course, because I've got my Plum Streets coming to do, one of them is Clementine. Now I've had the Abominable and Bigfoot kitted, so I don't have to worry about the threads for those, but Clementine was another one that I wanted to actually start and I forgot to tell her, so I got the threads for those. So those are the threads for Clementine. Aren't they lovely? They're actually really lovely. They're a lovely autumny tones and that sort of thing. So that's going to be for Clementine. And then I got, sorry, I've been enjoying working on the 25 count Lagana. I know it's 1/1 and doing little projects on it. It's just happy. But I wanted to try to see if I could do it on something other than a plain fabric. You know, doing 25 stitches every inch is a lot of stitches. And I definitely learnt from my little cat, I can't do the opal. My eyes just don't cope at all. But I saw this and I thought, ooh, I might actually have to do this. This one. So it's a lovely piece. It is Vintage Clouds, Lagana by Zwigat. Isn't it lovely? Look at my board. What's on the board, Miss Ford? So it's plain white on one side, and then this lovely design on the other, which will be really nice for one or two of the samplers maybe. And we'll just go from that. So that was my stash, and I think that's pretty much it. So holy moly, we're under an hour. Boy, it's been 2 weeks. Going ahead, it may be fortnightly that my videos start happening. I'm just really having so many sort of health issues that it's you know, just puts a bit more pressure on me having to try and do this every week. So I'm going to, for now, do it once a fortnight, still on a Sunday. So I forgot to say, today is July 3rd, Sunday, Wellington, New Zealand. Here we go. So the next one will be 2 weeks from now, about the 17th, I think. Yeah. And we'll... Sorry about the light changing, guys. Can't really help what happens outside. So yeah, and you know, I think that will help a little bit. I think it was a lot of the time it's the pressure to try and make sure you've got things to show and stuff like that, or heck a life where you've gone out and seen things and done things and found things, and I don't do that sort of stuff. So I've decided I was going to make it every month, but my memory ain't that great and I always forget to write stuff down. So I thought, you know, let's not push it. we'll do it every fortnight going forward. So and also, I mean, you know, people over in the States and stuff, you guys are all on holiday and summer, and it's too hot to sit down and watch long videos and all that sort of stuff. So I don't think it's going to be overly missed. I want to say thank you to Cheyenne for mentioning me in her Flosstube. I caught up with last night or early this morning. Thank you very much. That was very much appreciated. You know, keep being you. I think I don't have a problem with how you performed in your first one, and you know, a bit more understanding is a good thing for people when they're first starting on this. It's nerve-wracking. Somebody said that, you know, I'm a natural on it and stuff like that, and it's like, oh my god, no, I was shaking so badly in that first one, you just couldn't see it. I've learnt, even though, I mean, I used to be a performer decades ago, it was never easy. It was never something that was natural to me. I loved doing it. I loved singing and acting and you know, that sort of stuff, but I just hated any sort of recognition for it, so that's why I stopped, because I was starting to get recognised walking down the street, and that just scared the bejesus out of me. So this is a big step for me. But I sort of figure it's not like I go anywhere, so no one will recognise me anyway. Oh my god, I just about forgot. I did have a finish. I'm such an egg. It's only because I put other stuff on top of it that I forgot all about it. Now, as I said, I love Sherlock Holmes. I did mention, I don't know whether it was the last one or the one before, that from Stitchy People, they had a Sherlock Holmes one, and it was a free one. I'm like, oh my god. I definitely want to do some more Stitchy People, though I did learn with this one, you really need to do it on Lagana or something like that where you can do it over two, because some of the stitches made no sense to me. I had to learn how to do a daisy stitch. The instructions aren't great. I think you have to have some sort of knowledge about what each stitch is. I just couldn't work out how I was supposed to do a half stitch that went down across. Right, it wasn't a half stitch like a stack across from one corner to the other. It was a half stitch from top to bottom. I'm like, how the hell do you do that? So it's not perfect. There's a couple of mistakes on it, but this is the one that I was talking about. And it was my Friday start and finish. So Friday just gone. So the 1st of July, my start and finish. I've got to admit, it's starting to become a habit on the 1st of the month of me starting and finishing a project. And I quite like that. You know, it's a good way to start the month. And here we go. So there's my Lazy Daisy or Daisy, I don't know what it's called. I think it's called, is it Lazy Daisy? I know it's Daisy. I know that the flower was involved in there somewhere. I changed the door colour because I didn't want black. So I changed it. And if you have a look, next to Sherlock's eyes, they're supposed to be, you know, so I don't know how that's supposed to be done when you're on Ada and not on even weave. Yeah, so while I love the design and I'm really happy I did it, and I'm going to mount it on a little canvas. Love that, but it was a bit frustrating in all honesty. So that brings me on to my last little bit, and you can go now if you like. Thanks very much for stopping by. I appreciate it, and if you've got any questions, please just mention down below, or you can find me on Instagram, Cat Stitch on there as well. But if you want to stick around just for a couple more minutes, like I said, I love Sherlock Holmes, and the only thing I haven't brought through is the plate, but I brought through everything else. So I'll go Pocket Dragons. I've got the matching plate for Sherlock and Watson. Aren't they cute? Look at this little Sherlock. They're Pocket Dragons by Real Musgrave. And there's Watson. He's just so cute. They're very hard to find, and he was a little dinged, but I didn't care. I wanted them. So, aren't they gorgeous? They're very cute. And then my friend, who knows I quite often say no shit Sherlock, got me no shit Sherlock. There we go. Isn't he cool? He just, honestly, I just about died laughing when I got him. He is just so cool. So not only my phrase that I say a lot, but one of my favourite characters. And he's a shit. And I can say it because that's what he is. Not swearing, that's his title. Now this one here has a little bit of a story. When I was with my ex-husband, I mean, I still collect teddy bears, just not as many. I was watching TV then, a very dangerous thing to do, and it was a teddy bear show. and I saw this Herman beer came on, and it was a Sherlock Holmes, and I was like, oh, honey, it's like a limited edition 500 around the world, all sort of thing. And it took me a long time to convince him to let me buy it. The thing is, by the time I rang through, they'd sold out. I was devastated, and I was really peeved with my honey. And so I thought he was down in this room. So he felt bad that I'd missed out. So he started looking online to see if there's any other way that we could get one of these beers. And I went to the Herman website, and they've got like a chat board or a message board, or they did back then. I don't know if they do now. And I put up, I did a search in all the messages. I just searched the words Sherlock Holmes, and there was one post. It was all in German, and I'm like, right. Back then, we didn't have a lot of translator things online. Just saying, we just didn't have them. Maybe we did. I just didn't know about how to use them. And so I sent the lady a message. By any chance do you speak English? And does this post refer to Sherlock Holmes, the teddy bear? And is it that you've got one for sale, or you're looking for one? And she said, yes, I speak English. And I was like, thank goodness. And she goes, yes, I've got a Sherlock Holmes for sale. He is number 22 of 50. And I was thinking, oh, she must have missed a zero, because it's 500 worldwide. And we discussed the price, and I was like, oh, okay. A little more than, you know, but he had to make up the difference, because if he'd let me get it when I wanted to get it, it would have been a lot cheaper. But I said to her, that's no problem. So we arranged payment, you know, for me to make payment and stuff like that. And I told her I have to, you know, buy money orders. This was before PayPal, and, or when it was just starting and all that sort of stuff. So it was sort of so new. So I had to organise a money transfer thing, which would take a couple of weeks. And I said that to her, and she was fine about it. So the day before the money was ready to transfer, the mail arrived, and the beer had arrived. And I was thinking, oh my God. So, you know, first thing the next morning, I sent the money through, and I said, I'm so sorry for the delay, but your beer arrived before the money was able to be sent. And she was just, you know, the thing is, when I pulled the beer out of his box, he had all the right markings on him. He had the right button, and, you know, his tag and all that sort of stuff. But the number on his foot said 50 and not 500. And I was like, what the heck? So I emailed Herman, and I said to them, I said, your Sherlock Holmes beer, was it a limited edition of 50 or 500? And he said, publicly, 500. There was a small limited edition version which was designed specifically for a detective agency in Germany, a well-known one. And I was just like, for them to either, you know, give as gifts, or I don't know what, you know. And I said, seriously? He goes, yeah, there was only 50. They were never available for public sale. That's what my beer was. So here he is. The most expensive beer I've got, but he was worth every penny. He is just so cute, with his little deerskin hat. And as you can see, look, he's numbered. And he's fully jointed. And he is like my pride and joy. He's mohair. I don't have many mohair bears. Most of my bears are all fluffy plush. But he is just... We love our Sherlock, don't we? Hmm? So there we go. So this little tag. It'd be great if it was in English. But it's not. And unfortunately, I don't have, you know, special cabinetry or anything like that. for him to go into. So he has been damaged a bit over the last 10 years of moving around and that sort of stuff. He's still a favourite. So now he's going to get to live in here instead of in my room. So there we go. Now we're at an hour. Okay, so that's all from me this week. And I'll see you in 2 weeks. Hopefully with a bunch of finishes, because I was going to show you my basket today, but I've gone and filled it with something. So then I have to wait till next time. But we'll see what things I can get finished. I am hoping to get some more, some pillows done. That's my target. If you can tell me anything about the garnet grit, that would be great. I'm thinking of making up a whole bunch of little pouches out of muslin cloth or cotton and just filling those and then putting one of those in the middle of the pillow, or in a place in the pillow as needed. I'll see how I go. So meanwhile, you guys take care, keep well, be kind, look after each other, and we'll catch up with you next time. March to the beat of your own drum, because that's where the magic happens.